level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com. At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit lovboma.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetables, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today. Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solution offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln. The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call John Henrys at 402-435-5555 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-435-5555.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me, I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown! 45 yards.
And return specialist. This time he beats the kicker and one more. DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, welcome into the Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos, going solo just for a little bit here. No worries. We will have the former Husker, DeMornay Pierson-El, join us here shortly. He'll be joining us on the Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. And then later in the show, if you want to put a face to the voice, he will be joining via stream. And if you guys want to watch the streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, channel 961. And I encourage you guys, you can join in as well. Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Plenty of things to talk about when we get DP in here. I do want to talk Husker hoops, but we got to start with college football playoffs right off the bat, because we talked about it a lot on We Talk Facts, but the game did come to the end of regulation late in that show. But you see another SEC team bite the dust. Notre Dame wins it 23-10 over Georgia. Yes, you can talk about Georgia and the Carson Beck situation. Maybe that's why, but still, Notre Dame won that one pretty convincingly. And, you know, it's one of those games where I understand with the quarterback situation, the odds might not be in Georgia's favor as much as it would have been if Beck was healthy, but you still thought that team was going to be physical enough to be able to push their weight around, especially on that defensive side of the ball. You know, because it is bizarre. That is still the same team that lost to NIU. And it wasn't NIU beat Notre Dame on some crazy flukes. Like, NIU just played really good football that day, and they executed, they tackled well, and they just did a good job keeping Notre Dame in front. It's not like they were completely shutting Notre Dame out, but they were good enough in just keeping them in front and executing on those open field tackles. For whatever reason, you look at Georgia and they just didn't have that same level of execution. And now you're also sitting there, you're looking at Georgia, who had the bye, Oregon, who had the bye, Arizona State, who had the bye, Boise State, who had the bye, and all teams who had a bye already out in that first game. So we talked about that on We Talk Facts as well, as we get ready to bring in DeMornay Pierson-El. But you saw that when they changed the MLB playoff format as well. The teams who you thought were getting the benefit by being able to sit out for a little bit, ended up playing a team who, yes, they had to play more games. And even in the game comes to baseball, where that pitch count's incredibly important, those teams without the bye still ended up doing better and knocking off a lot of those teams with the bye. So I wonder if that's going to have to be looked at as well. If it's, especially in the case of Oregon, if it's really within your interest to have that bye, because you got such a loaded bracket regardless. And if you're going to play Ohio State coming off a hot win off Tennessee, revenge factor for Ohio State as well. It just seems like it's not a bad start. I'm not hating on the college football playoffs. I think there's so much negativity around college football for a lot of reasons. It's still a good product, but it certainly needs some tweaking as well. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Not Enrico Alvarez, clearly. We got DeMornay Pierson-El on the LVP line. DeMornay, how's it going on this Thursday night?
It's going good. Some teams are definitely, losing and whatnot. So it's been a pretty good, second round.
Yeah. Quick thoughts. I talked about it. Notre Dame and Georgia. Notre Dame wins that one 23-10. Surprised at all seeing another SEC team bite the dust?
Well, it's you still have to show up and do things, and I understand, their starting quarterback, was hurt or whatnot, but I don't think the guy that stepped in, it wasn't his fault. He was definitely balling and doing what he needed to be. I don't think that offensive line, surprisingly was struggling.
And that's what's surprising. I'll quick fill you in on what's talking about. Like even though whatever it was about whether it's Carson Beck back there or not, I still thought Georgia was going to have enough talent, especially in terms of winning the line of scrimmage. Notre Dame, good team. They looked physical in that opening round, but that's still the same Notre Dame team that lost to NIU. And for me, I was just surprised. Like, I wasn't able to sit down and watch the whole game, but on the small snippets I've seen and just kind of watching at the TV here at work, just didn't look like they got out physical, which I think to me was the most surprising part, was seeing the Fighting Irish really out physical Georgia.
I mean, that part, and also Georgia was also thin. So if Notre Dame could wear them down late in the game and whatnot, that was a big factor. But Notre Dame, they were winning on two, arguably three sides, phases of the ball. Special teams, you have a big return. They just brought a lot more energy and a lot more juice. And, we haven't seen, that from Georgia. We've seen Georgia play back from, behind and things and whatnot like that. But it was a different game. I think the quarterback played good enough to win. I just think, the supporting cast, you got wide receivers that was dropping, passes. I don't think they really did a good job of putting ETN in positions to really win in space. They kind of just thought that they were just going to be the bigger, better bully, which I thought they were. But I mean, when that wasn't working, they kind of just that was all they had.
Yeah, and to your point, the quarterback you did play, Gunnar Stockton, it wasn't a bad day for him. He was 20 for 32, threw for over 200 yards, 234 in the air, and a touchdown, 0 turnovers. And on the flip side, Notre Dame, 15 for 24 for Riley Leonard, under 100 yards, only got 90 yards on the day through the air, 1 touchdown. He was also the leading rusher, though, and that's kind of his bread and butter, is being that dual threat quarterback. 14 carries for 80 yards. And the running back for Georgia, Trevor Etienne, only got 11 carries for 38 yards. So to me, it was really just their inability to run the ball. Notre Dame, it was a lot through the quarterback, but nonetheless, that's kind of where the game fell apart. I think for Georgia it was actually fine through the passing game. You might have been worried about what the quarterback situation was going to look like. It was actually their inability to run the ball.
Yeah, I completely agree. They did enough. If the quarterback did enough, I feel like I said, to win the game. You had some receivers drop, some big time plays, explosive plays. I think the guy on the sideline ran into the ref. That kind of knocked their momentum. It was always something that wasn't just always clicking for Georgia. It just wasn't their best showing, but I mean, the better team won, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, and we feel pretty confident so far about all the better teams winning. So right now we're sitting here. We got Ohio State. It's official now. We do know it's Notre Dame, Penn State, and Texas. Do we feel like the college football playoffs, despite it expanding, has still done its job in getting the best teams to the championship, closer to the championship, I guess? It's still the semifinals, but we are down to 4.
I think so. I mean, the way that, the rest of these teams have battled back through their situations and those games or whatnot. I mean, it wasn't that those other teams were bad. I mean, the teams that won were just that good. And on top of that, you just had a bad showing from those teams. So I think, they got it right. I'm not criticizing anything. We all knew that some of those games weren't going to be all, close or might not be as competitive or whatnot. But they definitely made up for it. I think they definitely got hit it on the head with the right teams in there.
That's where I'm at. I've been pleasantly surprised, and I give the committee a lot of credit for not sliding in Alabama and not making that mistake because I want to talk about that game. Arguably, I don't know how much of an argument it is. It has to be the best game of the.
Alabama would have got embarrassed. I mean, bottom line, nobody wanted to see them. They're a talented team that doesn't play up to their full potential. You can say that about most teams in the SEC, regardless of what their hard schedule is or whatnot. When it mattered, when you needed to take care of business, all of the SEC teams technically or at some point in time didn't handle business.
And to your point, like none of the SEC teams are handling business. The only one to do so is Missouri and a 3-point win over Iowa. So that's really a win-win for us because that's the only Big Ten team I'm rooting for to lose. And Iowa did just that 2 years in a row, not winning their bowl game. But looking at Texas, Arizona State, you were close. You called it for the biggest potential for an upset, and they were right there. I mean, they had multiple opportunities to win. The game goes into double overtime. Sam Levitt actually had just a great performance all around. It was an awesome game, and it was one of those where early on you might have been tempted to turn the channel in fear that this one's going to get away from Arizona State. But it just goes to show, good coaching, you can get those guys fired up and motivated. If they believe they can come back, you can get yourself all the way back. Unfortunately, they weren't able to close it out. But you almost called it, DeMarne. Give me your thoughts on Texas versus Arizona State. Double OT win goes to Texas.
That was hard. That was heartbreaking because I believe Arizona State deserved to win that game. I definitely think that they were the better team. I think that Texas had played in crucial moments better. That last fourth down, you have Texas on the ropes. You have them stumbling and whatnot, and you give up a touchdown on fourth down in overtime. If you tackle them before or incomplete on that, that's a ball game. You were right then and there. So it was a good game. Arizona State, regardless of their situation of what happened, they showed, no matter what it is, they're not out of the fight, no matter how bad it can get and everything like that. Momentum swing can get you right back into it. And, I mean, it was on offense. It was on defense, both sides of the ball. They looked, honestly unstoppable. It just, Texas kind of got their second win, and you left the door open, and you seen what happened.
Yeah, it really was a gut-wrenching loss for Arizona State. It's probably a good thing that the season is over, though, because that's a brutal one to pick yourselves up. Because even if you go to the team stats, this is the end of the game. Again, this is after 2 overtimes. Arizona State won the total yards, 510 to 375, so well over 100 yards. They just lost in the passing yards game, 322 to 296, dominated in terms of rushing yards. Texas couldn't do anything. 53 yards on the ground for Texas, 214 for Arizona State, and the yards per play average goes to Texas' favor. They had the big chunk plays, but it was a tough one for Arizona State because you look at first downs as well. They got 29 to Texas 17. They pretty much did everything right outside of a few of those big momentum plays where it just kind of fell apart. But if you were to look at it even before it got to overtime, the stats were everything. Arizona State looked like they dominated the game by the time it got to the fourth quarter. Double overtime, Texas worked their way back into it a little bit, at least on the stat sheet. But yeah, that's a game where, unfortunately, in these one playoff exit scenarios, like even if you play the quote unquote better game, it's going to come down to a few of the crucial ones where you gotta convert, get the first down, or you can't drop the ball, which unfortunately for Sam Levitt and Arizona State, they just had too many of those huge momentum plays. I will say though, I was surprised that they battled that much. I know you were calling for the upset, but were you still surprised at all to see them playing that well? I mean, you are right on offense. It looked like they could do anything for a while there.
No, I wasn't surprised. It was just they had to get in their rhythm. They were the the true underdog of why not us. They hit the right strides at the right time. They were playing for each other. They were playing for a coach. The coach has got them motivated. So I wasn't surprised by any of their play or anything like that. But I'm more concerned for Texas.
Yeah.
Like,
they got Ohio State too. That's the worst team to play.
I'm not even gonna lie. Like with these last 4 teams, like I know Texas might be the highest ranked, but they're not. As of right now, I wouldn't put Texas as the best team right now. Like they're 3, maybe 4.
I was gonna say, like, who's the number 1 team right now? If you had to pick,
I would say Ohio State.
Number 2.
I would go Notre Dame because they beat Georgia.
Okay, number 3.
It's a toss up, but I would give it to Texas because I think Texas offense is a lot more reliable and a lot more. They're a lot more explosive than Penn State's offense. Penn State has an excellent defense, but their offense just it's not exciting. It's bland.
Their tight end has to have an electric day. If the offense is good at all that day, it really comes down to big number 44, Warren. Like he's got to play phenomenal. That's the only really, even versus SMU and Boise State. Like a lot of the best offense really wasn't unless Warren was involved. Like he deserves all the praise in the world. He's an incredibly versatile player. But the problem is SMU and Boise State didn't have the personnel to cover a guy like that. As much as it kills me, I think I'd probably go Texas too over Penn State because they would have the personnel to handle and figure out where the hell is Warren at everywhere on the field. And I think if they're able to bottle him up, Aller's good, but he's not. I think he would struggle against the Longhorns. So I'm probably not too far off with you. I've got Longhorns 3 and Penn State at 4. But that being said, though, Texas, even if you want to give them 3, not 4, any chance in the world they're gonna beat Ohio State? Ohio State might have to actually thank Michigan because Michigan pissed them off enough for these guys to go on a crazy run after another brutal loss to the Wolverines. They haven't looked back, and they've been dominating in these games, not just winning.
Yeah, Texas has played the same type of way that they've played Georgia, like in their games. Like they haven't been killing it. Like they started hot, they lose it, and you've gotten them on the ropes. So even it doesn't matter even if they jump off, at the page at you. Ohio State likes shootouts. Their defense is playing a lot better than what they have, and I'm not sure if you want to be in a shootout with Ohio State right now.
No.
I just don't think you want to do that. They're playing physical on defense. They're flying around. So even if Quinn Ewers wants to run, they got 2 outside linebackers or middle linebackers that can spy, that are converted safeties that can do things. So Texas is they're trending down just because they don't capitalize and put the final nail in the coffin. And with a dangerous team like how Ohio State is playing and whatnot, it doesn't matter. You better hope Ohio State starts late, plays behind the ball, or plays the worst game ever. I think that is the only way that Texas doesn't survive that. I mean, they literally obliterated Oregon and Tennessee, and it didn't look close at all.
Yeah, the hope for, if you're Texas, is that Ohio State got the revenge out, maybe ran out of a little bit of steam, but they're just.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It feels like they've turned the page.
I don't think so. I don't think that the moment will be too big. I don't think that will be, be on a success hangover. You pissed off and woke up the wrong person. You woke up a sleeping giant that did not need to be disturbed. And, they're putting a lot of people on notice. Their defense is shutting down people. They're taking away, what people like to do in their offense, regardless on if it's through the air or in space with, the running backs or tight ends. They're getting the job done. And it doesn't look like you can stop their 1-2 punch at receiver. It doesn't matter if you have the Thorpe Award winner or not. He's going to have his hands full with Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, and we pointed this out as well on that last hour, especially on that defensive side of the ball, but really on the offensive side as well, especially on that line of scrimmage. That's a bunch of 4 or 5 year dudes. Like that's a veteran experienced unit that really isn't going to panic. And if they've been around Ohio State program, this isn't necessarily new pressure or territory. So it's not like I don't expect them to crumble under any sort of pressure. And Will Howard is locked in. I'll say this much about Matt Rule and looking for targets out of the QB transfer portal. He was right to look at Sam Levitt and Will Howard, both of those guys, because both those guys are in the college football playoffs. No longer Sam Levitt, but he had a hell of a game in that last outing. And then Will Howard right now is absolutely
not just him. What about the dude that went to Syracuse? He's been balling too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's why am I blanking on the Syracuse name right now?
I can't think of his name. I know he's at Ohio State. Kyle something.
Kyle McCord. Thank you very much. Yeah, Kyle McCord. Looking at him as well, because Will Howard out of Kansas State was the target. Kyle McCord out of Ohio State was the target. And then, of course, Dylan Oriola kind of put the kibosh on all that once I think people realized that was, in fact, he's coming over to Nebraska. But, yeah, even Kyle McCord at Syracuse, I think they might have won their bowl game as well. I can't remember, but even if they didn't, he put together a really good year for Syracuse.
I think they had a 10-win season, so I think so.
So, tough first year looking at quarterbacks out of the portal, but I think year after that, it would have been a home run with just about any of these guys. I mean, they all looked like caliber quality QBs that you can go win ball games with, because all the teams they ended up on, they all won a bunch of ball games. We only got a little bit of time here left on this first segment, so let's go through it. Texas, Ohio State. I'm assuming you got Ohio State coming out of that one?
Correct.
Okay, Ohio State. Then you got Penn State and Notre Dame, because Georgia's out.
All
Big Ten championship would be insane for the first year of the college football playoffs.
I'm willing to bet that I think Notre Dame kind of gets a little bit kind of stuck on their success.
Oh, I hope so.
I like the coach. I like the coach, but I think it's going to happen to if it's going to happen to somebody, it's going to happen to Notre Dame. You just beat Georgia. You beat a hot Indiana team. Nobody thought you were going to be there and everything like that. They might be smelling the roses. Secondly, I think Penn State is probably the least team who's honestly really had to struggle. They dominated both teams, and it was kind of over early, and it stayed that way. So I think Penn State has a lot of tread on their tires. And I think Penn State will get Notre Dame.
I would like that a lot. That'd be it. Just to me, that's the most incredible scenario, is that James Franklin and company finally makes it to the college football championship game. Not because they finally broke through, but they just extended the playoffs. They are exactly what they've always been. It's the exact. I mean, it's insane to me how much the Nittany Lions have refused to change, but it actually has worked in their favor, because unlike us, they stayed patient enough. They didn't fire a coach because of 9-10 win seasons. They hung on. And now they're sitting here with an opportunity in the college football playoff semifinals to go ahead and punch a ticket. And I will say, between Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame, like if I'm Penn State and I had to play a team, I take the Fighting Irish, I think, over everybody else that's left in the market right now. But I am curious because SMU, Boise State, they're good teams, sure. I don't know how really great a test that is, especially versus a Notre Dame team who did just beat Georgia. And it wasn't Georgia because they had a bad day at the quarterback position. They just flat out dominated because they were more physical than the Georgia Bulldogs, which is always incredible when you can out physical Georgia, who's really always credited for being one of the most physical teams out there in college football. With that being said, well, actually, let me ask you. So if you do end up Ohio State and then Penn State, you got an all Big Ten championship. Who's bringing the trophy home?
Hopefully Penn State. I don't want Ohio State to win it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do think it's one of those for me. I'm with you. I think it's Ohio State. But then I do think the Fighting Irish are able to upset I don't even know if it's really an upset. I think they do beat Penn State because Penn State, as far as I can tell, just hasn't really been tested to that level yet. But then I do got Ohio State hoisting the trophy. Just on the run there they've been on, it's hard to pick against them right now. All right, with that being said, we'll throw it to break here. We'll talk just about all the overall conferences, who is the best conference in college football right now, and wrap things up. We will dive in to some Husker hoops. They got UCLA coming to Lincoln this weekend, and then they're really off and running for the conference play schedule. So don't go anywhere. Don't punt tower. Good morning, Pierson-El. Harrison Arns, talk to you in a little bit.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a slight chance of snow this morning. Otherwise, we'll see partly sunny skies with a high around 35. Tonight, increasing clouds with a low around 20. And tomorrow, we'll see partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies with light winds and a high around 30. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Patriot Plumbing at 402-464-7411 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-464-7411.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to look at their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway. League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit lovboma.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
New year, new you? Barrel's Extreme Body Shaping can help make sure you keep that resolution this time. Our proven system combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition, along with our expert coaching to make sure you're moving forward toward your goals. The next 10-week challenge starts January 11th, but if you enroll now, you can start today and get a head start on those gains for no extra cost. Plus, head to fxblincoln.com and you can save $100. Don't wait. Barrels Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Don't Punt Hour. We got DeMornay Pierson-El, Harrison Arns streaming in. If you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685. Starting him in text line. Let's talk some Husker hoops here. We do got a big one coming up here. UCLA Bruins, number 15 in the country right now. And when you look at this UCLA team, they're probably going to finish being in the top quarter of teams in the Big Ten. I don't know what it's going to look like for them on the road. You do see ESPN favoring Nebraska. A large part of that just Nebraska being at home, and they are coming off an impressive string of wins here. Last loss not being till you have to go all the way back till Michigan State. First one in the year being the St. Mary's. What do you like in this one for the Huskers and their odds to pull it off versus a very good UCLA team who I think the biggest thing to worry about is if we get turnover sloppy, which we've caught ourselves doing in the past. UCLA is really good in their transition offense and being able to either A, take some quick threes when there's no one there or go all the way to the rim. You got to mute yourself there, DP.
Sorry, but both teams are, 11-2. So, both teams have, played really, really well. You have to be careful with UCLA. They're, historically a basketball school. They have talent. They scout talent and everything like that. So don't be alarmed if, guys that you see on that roster, make it in the league at somewhere. It's a good challenge. But, we have to take care of business and hopefully, our mistakes don't shoot us in, our own foot and kind of make the game easier for them. As long as we take care of, what we're supposed to do, they're a fundamentally sound basketball team. They're not anything too exciting. They're not, a Kentucky when, Calipari was there. They're not a Duke or anything like that. They're a smaller Gonzaga. At times Gonzaga, is have good, exciting teams or a Butler. They're fundamentally sound. And with teams like that, you have to disrupt things. You have to cause, a lot of confusion and get them kind of out of their element and in their zone. With it being a home game, that could be the perfect storm.
That's what you're hoping for, right?
Yes.
It's especially that's an environment that UCLA is not going to be familiar with. That's also a lot more travel than UCLA is used to when it comes to conference play. Now they've traveled in basketball. You go to all these crazy tournaments, but in terms of a conference game going all the way middle of the Midwest, it's tough atmosphere, and we've seen what that home court does for Nebraska. That's the same home court that the crowd got to storm after knocking off Purdue, and not just beating Zach Edey and company. That was a dominant performance by the Huskers. That's when the Mastodon, just dominated that game. It was a perfect game from him, and that's one of the other great things about this team is without Rink Mast, I was really worried, what does it look like at that forward/center position? And the other guys, I didn't know what Braxton Meehan was other than tall, but he certainly plays with this height. Sometimes you'll see those 7-foot centers and they'll kind of piss you off because it's like, do you not know how big you are?
They be clumsy or
just getting themselves in foul trouble. And
they
it's
don't move well,
up.
unathletic, lazy, and he hasn't been that at all.
No, he's been excellent, especially when you're in the Big Ten. A guy like Braxton Meehan helps you out a ton. And I was a little worried about his foul trouble early because I think he had a couple games in there where he racked up 2 fouls early in the first period. But I don't think he's fouled out of a game yet. And we do have enough of a rotation to where I think he's good enough with his hands to where he's going to keep himself in games. And a team like UCLA, it's tough because they're a team that's a lot more battle tested. You look at just their last 5. They got a win on the road at Oregon. They beat Arizona. They beat Providence. Say what you say about Providence. Big East school. Big East schools are always a little bit better than you give them credit for. UNC, they did lose that one, but only by a couple. And then they beat Gonzaga by 3, another Big East school. And then Nebraska, yes, they beat Indiana as the best one out of the 5, but then they beat Murray State, Hawaii, Oregon State, and Southern. The last 4 teams haven't been very good. Their teams,
they're battle tested. Like,
yes,
they've played some top-notch, talented programs, and so it's like I said. Hopefully, you disrupt them enough to where you get them off of their swing, and they make simple mistakes that cause easy buckets and whatnot, or foul trouble, or something like that, to where the fundamentals don't kill you.
Yeah, and especially a team like UCLA, like you're right. That's where, not that Drew Timme graduated there, but that's where like guys that you think of Drew Timmes of the world come from. Schools like UCLA, 4 or 5 year guys. The
Russell Westbrook.
The last big run they had in the tournament was because they had all that. Just 5 year guys, all coming, all had COVID years in there as well. So it's a team that does well with continuity, and it's just a team where you talk about being ready for the moment too. That whole program doesn't shy away from big opportunities. So they're going to come in there guns blazing, wanting to get that first win at Pinnacle Bank Arena to kind of put their stamp in the Big Ten and across all these Big Ten schools. The hope is that they maybe overestimate us or underestimate that atmosphere. And I think there's a good chance they do.
Yeah.
Coming to Nebraska, man, there's some of these schools, they don't even have a shot clock. How good can they be at basketball? We got some players. Connor Essegian being one of those guys. Yeah, are you surprised at all to see how good he's been?
No.
I mean, I'll say this. I'm surprised. He's shooting over 40% from 3, career best. I knew it would work here.
He was just homesick. That's all it was. I mean,
apparently,
you go to a school like Wisconsin. Wisconsin has been, known as well for football, but as well for basketball too. So the fact that you were even capable of getting there, you got playing time early as a freshman and everything like that. It's the situation necessarily just didn't work out. That doesn't mean he's not skilled and he doesn't, have the capabilities. It just, it wasn't working. You come back home, you're a lot more, confident. You're around friends, you're around family and everything like that. You feel, a lot better about yourself. And here we are. I'm not surprised at all. I was hoping this is what it would be.
Yeah, man, he fits so well within the offense too, and that's a spot where you give Fred Hoiberg credit. They're very connected to just how each guy really likes to score. Like I never see anybody throw just a silly pass trying to force it. You'll see that with other teams where I don't know if it's just the easiest pass to make, but they're just kind of passing the ball around, wasting shot clock. When they're passing the ball to Connor Essegian, it's either A, to keep the ball movement to set somebody else up, or he's open and he's getting ready to pull it. I mean, he's got a trigger to where he knows exactly where his green light is. And you see it a lot on transition. The team does a really good job of knowing where Connor Essegian's at. Because if he's trailing, they're going to flip it back.
That's legal stealing.
It really is. But yeah, it's awesome to see because you're right. That freshman year, phenomenal player at Wisconsin. Sophomore year, okay, this guy Storm's pretty damn good. He's eating into my minutes. Different role, not a big deal. But sometimes, especially when you're a shooter and a volume shooter like that, it's kind of tough to stay cold all game. And then when they need you, all right, now
you got to be hot and activated. Like so like I said, it's a different situation. So him being home, he grew up in the state. Got a message. Sorry, he grew up in the state. So it's like I said, it's not shocking. That's the best case scenario, and good for them identifying and having the tangibles to get him to be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One more guy I want to put the spotlight on. Because he's just been so good. I know we've done it a few times, but he deserves it. Because we mentioned it, Andy Katz gives Bryce Williams National Player of the Week. The award and accolades just kept going on and on. Multiple places that give those weekly awards out. We're handing Bryce Williams the goods, the accolades, and well deserved. Right now, Bryce Williams is shooting 50% from the floor, 40% from three, in 90% from the free throw line. He's a 50-40-90 guy. That is a beautiful package of efficiency. To shoot 42% from 3-point line this year. He was always a good 3-point shooter, but his best year was actually his first year, where he shot 43%, but on a much lower percent. He didn't take nearly as many, a lot lesser amount of attempts. This year, he's taken a fair amount of threes, and he's shooting at above 40%. But like I said, he's still 50% everywhere else. Like, I don't know. What's the ceiling on Bryce Williams? He's building up his NBA draft stock a lot in the way he's playing.
I think he's one of those like high risers when it comes to it. Last year, not to say it wasn't his show, not to say that the offense necessarily wasn't flowing through him. If he were to play like how he was last year, or how towards the ending of the season it was, if they were playing, all season like that, I think things would have been a lot more smoother. He's a lot familiar with, what's expected and everything like that. There's no pressure. He doesn't have to wait for, Casey to get his own. So he's going at his pace. He's going at his thing. He has something to prove. And he's showing the conference. He's showing the nation, especially with a game like this. You got UCLA coming into town, and he's kind of been hot. I'm excited to see, what he put on his resume, out there for this type of game. This could be a type of game that kind of, introduces the rest of the world. People, the basketball people, might know about him and everything like that. But this game potentially could, I don't want to say put him on the map, but, just widen the scale of, people start to look for him a lot more, and not just, basketball people, everybody.
Yeah, that's well said. Because this is exactly what's been happening for him. It's crazy to think, like, last year, the Keisei Tominaga story was incredible the entire way through. And there's no question he was the fan favorite in the Big Ten. He was
for sure
phenomenal. And you were wondering, how is Nebraska going to replace that? The guy was on the roster, and Bryce Williams, and he's been on a run this year, and he is getting that sort of hype. I forget the announcers who were coming into town for this one, but they were even speaking about it, how they're excited not only to be the first time in Pinnacle Bank Arena, but to watch Bryce Williams. Yeah. So Bryce Williams is starting to get that name, and maybe arguably the most exciting player in the Big Ten right now. And this UCLA game is going to be a great opportunity to display that. All right, we got to throw it to break here. On the last segment, I do want to talk about the college football conferences and which ones are the best. I mentioned where you get that in the second segment. Ran out of time. We'll shove that in at the third. So we'll talk about that. Is the Big Ten number one now, or is this just an anomaly year for the SEC? Don't go anywhere. Don't Punt Hour with the Morning Pierson-El.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy new year. They are thankful for many things from 2023 and hope that 2024 brings prosperity for you and starts off well for everyone in your life. This important message comes to you from Bart and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care. Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R. It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetables, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, realignment, or even new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at doorsplusllc.com or give them a call at 402-590-5800.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in at Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s. We got the Morning Pierson-El streaming in. You guys can always join in as well. Wrapping things up here, we'll just talk about the current state of college football in terms of the conferences. ACC, it's been awful for them in bowl games. I think they've only won about 2 bowl games thus far, and they've been in plenty of them. SEC has won more bowl games than not, but still, you're seeing a lot of them, and in particular, Big Ten matchups, where the Big Ten's actually coming out on top. In the Big Ten in bowl games, has been dominating in just about all of them. So, with that being said, outside of Iowa, they did lose to Missouri. Got to keep shouting that out there. Okay with that. Who's the best conference in college football right now?
I think this year is definitely the Big Ten.
Okay, and that's the follow-up. Is this I don't want to say going to be forever, because I think the next step would be back and forth. Some years it's SEC, some years it's Big Ten. Or is this just an anomaly and next year we'll be pretty much back to the SEC as the stronger conference?
I mean, it's for a while we've known the two dominant conferences have been the Big Ten and the SEC. Now, given some years here or there or whatnot, I think this year finally the Big Ten got over the hump. We was always a step behind or a half a step here or whatever. This year, and they can say, oh, they've had more competitive schedules or whatnot. I mean, at the end of the day, we're not talking about regular seasons anymore. We got a lot of teams in the Big Ten that got 10 wins. We got a lot of teams in the Big Ten that got 9 wins, that got 8 wins. So, and some of these teams that have gone up against some Big Ten opponents or, some of these better ACC opponents and still dominated. So this year, I would say just the Big Ten and leave it at that. I'm not saying that the SEC isn't good or whatnot. It's just this year that the Big Ten is just, a step ahead of some of these teams in the SEC.
Yeah, the Big Ten certainly gathered a lot of ground in terms of just their respective where they're at between the two conferences. I think this is going to be more of the same next year, where I don't think the SEC is going to have the same kind of dominance. I think
you lost Saban. Like I don't want to hear it. Like
it's just NIL.
It's not the same.
No, I think it's with NIL and the portal and everything too.
Yeah,
now
that too.
It feels like dynasties are kind of over. Like, not that you can't build a program and have that program be consistently great, but I don't know if you can build it the same way Saban had it built.
No,
because like you're not going to get that long term
unless you go to places like Notre Dame, Penn State. I don't. Are they going to play players? Yes, but they're going to get the right players that want to be there. Not everywhere is like that. Even Ohio State. People are going to fluctuate. So I think you have a very select few colleges that can keep and retain kids that they actually recruited, that actually, want to be there. My family went here. My mom, my dad, X, Y, and Z is just they're keeping, the tradition alive. That it's not going to be like that everywhere. And every university will experience, guys hopping in the portal for more money or something like that. But the old college football of what we were used to is gone. Moving forward, it's still a building process of what it's going to be.
Yeah, and it's certainly not completely gone, but a large part of it is certainly kind of washed away. On the bright side, like if you are Alabama, though, like that still exists to where you have created a generation of fans that watch really good Alabama football, and you might have some of those 4 or 5 stars coming up that just because they did get to watch the Saban era, they fell in love with it so much that you'll be more likely to be able to swing them for less than, say, going to a school in another conference. I just think we are definitely in the era of you can have a great program. I don't know if you can just have the best program year in, year out. That's just kind of part of the past now, which is crazy. I will say, though, to kind of wrap this show up as we're talking about Alabama, how has DeBoer, do you think, felt about in the Alabama fan base? Like what? How patient are they even going to be?
They're not going to be patient, And I mean, he had a winning season. I understand you didn't go to the SEC championship. I understand that you didn't, go to the college playoffs and whatnot. But a lot of that, I don't think is on the coach's fault. Your quarterback has been on a roller coaster. Yeah. Sometimes he plays good, sometimes he doesn't play good. And that same quarterback was doing the same thing with Saban. He got benched, with Saban. So
he had a Hail Mary versus Auburn last year.
That literally, if that didn't happen, I don't know if he might even be at Alabama that next following year. Like, they might have ran him out of town, or they might have said, we're going to go a different route. Or, DeBoer could have brought in a quarterback he was recruiting at Washington, and so it's not all DeBoer's fault.
No, and there's going to be a drop.
You got kids that were used to Alcatraz.
Yeah,
and,
that's the way to put it.
Saban is gone, so they necessarily don't have to walk on eggshells, and I think you've seen that with them throwing temper tantrums, with them doing certain things on the field, because Saban wasn't going to have that, and he's different, and they did that because they knew they could get away with it. That's like you going to mom and asking mom something, you say no, but you go to dad and dad say yeah. That's all that was. So when he gets, the kind of guys that, respect him a little bit more, that's not there with Saban ran it like this and Saban did it like that. Behind every door, he's fighting Saban allegations. He can walk down the hallway. Well, Saban will walk on the left. So what?
Yeah. And that's the part where brutal for him. Like, I would never want to take that job.
No, and that was going to be anybody.
No, it was going to be a step down no matter what. There was going to be a drop off. It's just how much.
Unless you went, 11-1 in the playoffs, won the SEC, or was in the SEC championship game, you weren't going to have that.
Yep. If you're Kalen DeBoer, though, hopefully, like your strength in all this has been like, all right, you guys all exhaled a little bit because Saban left. This is what happened. Like, are you ready to lock in and listen now? Because we weren't locked in this season. It was clear.
And you still got 8 wins. And you still got 8 wins.
And I know the Michigan loss is bad. That might have been the future reigning champs' last loss was the Wolverines. So Michigan also is not as bad as what the record indicates. No. So I'm not willing to say Alabama is just forever going to be out of the mix now. Like, I'm not out on the
Michigan. Michigan was a really good defensive team. They that's their identity.
One of the best defensive teams down the stretch. I mean, they really
couldn't score. They just didn't have an offense. And you could say the same thing with Alabama. Like, depending on which Jalen Milroe showed up, that's what it was. Like, they only went as far as he could. If offense is struggling and the defense out there, the defense is going to get tired at some point in time.
Yep, that's what it was indeed. Because Jalen Milroe declared for the NFL draft, so he's definitely not coming back anytime soon. But we'll have to see what these college football playoffs continue to bring out. We'll continue to talk about it. We'll see you next week on Monday. Have a great rest of your weekend. DeMornay, we'll see you then.
New year, new you. Barrel's Extreme Body Shaping